Imtiaz Morijo is going to preside the final MPhil seminar of Mr. Adil. And before going to start the seminar, I would like to request Mr. Yasir to come in, recite few words from the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر صدق الله العظيم. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, sorry for late because the display issue. So my name is Adil. I am MPhil student, IMCS University of Sindh, and I am working under the supervision of Dr. Najma Nawaz and Dr. Nadeem Ahmad. So I always start my presentations with this quote of Newton: I have seen further. It's because I standing on the shoulders of giants. The topic of my research is the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining. In this presentation, I will cover these topics, starting from introduction, then I will give some background, research methodology, results and analysis, conclusion and future work. Introduction. The widespread adoption of cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, has revolutionized global finance. Concerns about the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining have emerged as a pressing issue. Bitcoin mining consumes substantial energy, leading to significant carbon emissions. Understanding the environmental consequence of Bitcoin mining is crucial for sustainable development. Bitcoin operates on a blockchain network secured through mining, which requires significant computational power and energy consumption. The environmental impact of Bitcoin mining has gained attention due to its potential consequence for climate change. Problem statement. Previous studies suggest a strong causal relationship between three variables: the price of Bitcoin, energy consumption, and CO2 emissions. Okay, there are many environmental impacts of Bitcoin, but we are focusing on air emissions or CO2 emissions. This study aims to explore the relationship between the price of Bitcoin, energy consumption, and CO2 emissions. Rigorous data analysis and machine learning techniques is used to investigate the research hypothesis. The study will provide a nuanced understanding of the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining. The findings can inform stakeholders, policymakers, and industry players in mitigating the environmental impact of mining. The study aims to contribute to the broader discourse on sustainable development and responsible technology adoption. Okay, there is a need for a comprehensive analysis to rigorously examine and quantify the relationship between these variables. This research provides a thorough investigation into the environmental implication of Bitcoin. The focus is on relationship between Bitcoin price, energy consumption, and CO2 emissions. The surge in energy demand for Bitcoin mining has led to significant carbon emissions. That I will explain later how energy consumption causes carbon emissions. Okay, the research objectives are this. Sorry, because alignment we have changed because of display. So research objectives are investigate, analyze, examine, quantify, develop, provide, and contribute. Investigate the relationship between the price of Bitcoin, energy consumption, and carbon emissions in Bitcoin mining. Analyze the correlation between the price of Bitcoin and energy consumption in the mining process. Examine the relationship between the energy consumption in Bitcoin mining and carbon dioxide emissions. So when I'm talking about relationship, it means linear relationship between these variables. Quantify the impact of Bitcoin mining on the carbon emissions and its contribution to greenhouse gas emissions. Develop a machine learning model, regression, supervised machine learning model to establish a linear relationship between Bitcoin price, energy consumption, and CO2 emissions. provide evidence-based insights and recommendation for sustainable practices in the cryptocurrency industry, contribute to the existing knowledge of environmental impact, Bitcoin mining. Okay, the research hypothesis. This is the research hypothesis. An increase in Bitcoin price leads to higher energy consumption. When Bitcoin price increases, uh, more miners come in and they use energy intensive hardware. So energy consumption increases and that leads to Bitcoin mining operation which subsequently results in the increase in CO2 emissions. If energy consumption increases, it means that CO2 emissions are increasing because the primary genesis of Bitcoin mining are coal and gas. So this is the hypothesis diagram. Price of Bitcoin, energy consumption leads to energy consumption. Energy consumption is because the Bitcoin technology uses proof of work consensus algorithm. That means carbon footprint, and carbon footprints are emissions that are harmful for the environment. Okay, the structure of my thesis is like this: introduction, where I introduces the topic, and after that I will give some background in the thesis. Then I have research methodology, where I have discussed the methodology of my research. After that, I will give results and analysis in the thesis, and after that, conclusion and future work. Okay, the thesis the structure of thesis is like this. Okay, some background. These three key terms, we have to explain these three key terms. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency based on blockchain technology. It operates without intermediaries, means without any central authority, and has gained attention as a potential alternative to traditional currencies. Energy consumption. Bitcoin mining process consumes energy. Energy consumption refers to energy used in Bitcoin mining and transaction processing. It includes the electricity consumed by mining hardware and associated infrastructure. And energy consumption leads to CO2 emissions. CO2 emissions is the third variable that we will use. CO2 emissions are the release of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Bitcoin mining and transaction processing can result in significant carbon emissions due to the energy intensive nature of these processes. Okay, the historical background. Bitcoin is the first decentralized cryptocurrency. The Bitcoin is the first decentralized currency and the first implementation of blockchain technology introduced in 2008. It operates on a peer-to-peer network without any central authority. It is a digital currency used for a transaction and investments, and there are thousands of other cryptocurrencies available. But the most popular one is Bitcoin. Cryptocurrencies are stored in digital wallets. Okay, we have physical wallets where we store money, but it's stored on digital wallets, either online or offline, and can be bought and sold through online exchanges. Cryptocurrencies offer advantages such as lower transaction fees, full control over assets, increased confidentiality, reduced fraud, and resistance to inflation. Bitcoin has experienced significant growth and adoption since its inception, attracting attention from mainstream media and financial institutions. Okay, some significant events that leads to energy consumption and high demand of Bitcoin. First of all, the supply of Bitcoin is limited. Only 21 million coins will ever be mined. 17 millions are already mined. So the competition is getting higher. Every miner is getting into mine the Bitcoin. So every 6 or 5 years, it is the halving event of Bitcoin. Bitcoin has halving events every 4 years. So 4 years, reducing the block rewards for the miners. Halving events in 2012, 12, 16, and 20 have impacted Bitcoin mining dynamics and energy consumption. Whenever the halving event comes, miners compete with each other and they use more and more advanced hardware to mine Bitcoin. Environmental concerns around Bitcoin has led to numerous studies and research initiatives that we will discuss later. Research focus on energy consumption and carbon footprint of Bitcoin mining. These efforts contribute to understanding environmental implications and drive discussion on mitigating strategies. Okay, shifting energy sources. The main reason Bitcoin consumes a lot of energy is it uses heavily fossil fuels based energy like oil and carbon. The resulted in significant CO2 emissions. There is now a trend towards using renewable energy, but still many countries use the traditional energy sources like carbon. The aim is to reduce the carbon footprint associated with Bitcoin mining. Okay, Bitcoin, the structure of Bitcoin network is decentralized. Okay, it's a decentralized network. There are different types of networks. Like centralized networks have a single authority controlling the system. Decentralized network distribute authority among all participants. Distributed networks are spread across multiple networks and can be managed joint or separately. Trust and data handling. In a centralized network, user trusts the authority to handle the data apparently. But in decentralized networks eliminate the need for the trust among individuals because it is decentralized between individuals. No central authority is controlling any process. Data modification in a decentralized network requires majority approval. Okay, there are some advantages but drawbacks as well of decentralized network. Enhanced resistance to hacking, system failure, power outrage and corruption. Data transparency for all participants. Real-time data sharing without the risk of loss or corruption. Processing speed and scalability. Decentralized networks may have slower processing speed due to the larger number of nodes required for validation. Security improves with network growth, but transaction duration may increase. Okay, this is the diagram of three different networks, but Bitcoin is using the middle one, decentralized. Okay, centralized, decentralized, and distributed networks. Cryptocurrency exchange platforms also use decentralized network. Blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Blockchain enable the functionality of cryptocurrency as fully digital asset. It operates without downtime and human intervention, providing uninterrupted services. Blockchain stores data in blocks linked together similar to packages in a book. Distributed trustless nature. Blockchain distributes multiple copies of the database globally, ensuring accessibility. Counterfeit cryptocurrencies and manipulation are extremely challenging due to transparency and traceability. Trust is not necessary as individuals can independently verify and validate information. Decentralized database. The blockchain database is decentralized, residing on multiple computers known as nodes. Nodes are spread across a network and participate in the validation process. And it uses proof of work consensus mechanism, that is most energy using algorithm. For proof of work is one of the consensus mechanism employed by blockchains. Multiple nodes must confirm the legitimacy of new data before adding it to the blockchain. This is the structure how blockchain works. A transaction is requested, a block that represents the transaction is created, the block sent to every node in the network. Node validate the transaction. Every node must validate the transaction. Nodes receive a reward for the proof of work. When it solves the proof of work algorithm, it receives a block. The block is added to the existing blockchain and transaction is complete. They receive the reward as a money. Blockchain process. A transaction request initiates the creation of new block. The block is distributed to every node in the network for mining or validation. Proof of work or proof of stake. Two mechanisms are used, but Bitcoin is using proof of work. Proof of stake is less energy intensive, that we will discuss later. Hashing and interconnected blocks. Blocks are interconnected through hash codes generated by hashing. Hashing involves performing operations on input data to produce a fixed size sequence of letters. Hashing ensures consistent and unique identities for each block. Cryptographic techniques and digital signatures. The blockchain relies on cryptographic techniques and digital signatures for transaction validity. Majority consensus from the chain is required to approve each transaction. Role of hashing. Hashing provides distinct identities to blocks similar to fingerprints. Hashes eliminate the need for additional identification and verification process. Hashing algorithm generate hash of different lengths measured in bits. This is the structure of blockchain. It's work with using hash function. Immutability and hashing. Modify data in a blockchain, its hash code rendering subsequent blocks invalid. Blockchain inherent immutability contributes to the reliability of stored data. Each block contains a Markov root derived from Markov tree. Verifying data integrity. Nodes role in the Bitcoin blockchain. Full nodes maintain consensus, validate transaction, verify blocks, and store the entire blockchain. Simple payment verification nodes rely on full nodes for information and store limited blockchain data. Minor nodes compete to create a new block and can function as full nodes or lightweight nodes. The main network consists of thousands of nodes running different versions of the Bitcoin reference client. The extended network includes peer-to-peer protocol nodes, specialized nodes, pooled services, and protocol gateways. Cryptocurrency encrypts and decrypts data, solving mathematical problems to create hash codes. Nodes validating transactions in the blockchain are rewarded with a small amount of native cryptocurrency. The maximum supply or cap of a cryptocurrency is encoded in the source code and enforced by nodes. There are different types of blockchains. Public blockchains allow anyone to participate, while private blockchains are controlled by specific organizations. Decentralized nature of the blockchain enhances security and efficiency, eliminating the need for intermediaries or central authority. The main drawback is energy consumption. That is the focus of our research. Blockchain's decentralized nature requires high energy consumption for transaction confirmation. Energy intensive process possesses environmental burdens, leads to higher transaction costs. This is the Mark III tree that every block must contain. Mining cryptocurrency. Mining primarily secures the blockchain network while currency creation serves an incentive. Specialized high-power computers are used for cryptocurrency mining. Again, proof of work mining. Miners compete to solve a new block in a proof of work blockchain like Bitcoin. The reward for mining a block is a small amount of cryptocurrency. Miners search for a nonce, the solution to a specific problem by generating hash. Each block contains a stamp, version number, previous block hash, previous transaction hash, target hash, and neon. Neons means the reward. Miners iterate through value to find a valid nonce less than or equal to the target hash. The first miner to find the correct nonce shares it with the network, prompting others to stop working on that block. It will secure the block for them. Competition, hash power, and difficulty. Only the miners who find the correct nonce, means correct solution, receives the reward, while many nodes compete. The total hash power of the network reflects cumulative work performed by miners. Increased competition and energy consumption occur as the number of nodes and hash power increases. Mining difficulty adjusts based on average block generation time to maintain a 10-minute block time. Okay, the miners use advanced technology to mine cryptocurrency. Mining technology continues to advance and is specialized for specific blockchains. More energy and machines are required for serious mining competition. Bitcoin has a limit of 21 million coins and approximately 17.3 million already mined. It means that we remaining few coins, but to mine these coins we need 400 years. If the miners start mining from now, they will mine 400 years. That is the competition of Bitcoin. It's getting higher day by day, and the cryptographic algorithm is getting complex day by day. As the number of competing nodes increase, overall energy expenditure rises. That comes to big mining facilities. Individual miners are no threat to us, but the heavy mining facilities or heavy mining companies. Large scale mining has become a viable business model. Big facilities focus on greater efficiency due to their scale. Mining equipment becomes outdated quickly, prompting requirements. Some operators manufacture their own mining equipment. Heavy Bitcoin mining, operational considerations. Electricity is the largest expense in cooling being a significant factor. Mining facilities prefer low energy costs and colder climates. Yes, sir. And results part. Okay, sir. Okay, the methodology. In our study, quantitative research approach employed to investigate the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining. Raw data set collected on Bitcoin price, energy consumption, and CO2 emission. Data set compiled from reliable sources like Cambridge Bitcoin Electricity Consumption Index and Investing.com. Descriptive statistics is used to summarize variables characteristics. Correlation analysis conducted to examine the relationship between Bitcoin price, energy consumption, and CO2 emissions. Machine learning model employed to identify linear relationship between independent variables Bitcoin price and energy consumption and dependent variables CO2 emissions. Time series analysis performed to analyze trends and patterns over times. And to confirm these data analysis, we have because correlation and machine learning model they employ linear relationship, but we have to confirm by a theory. So we presented a theory by systematic literature review conducted to support the and contextualize the findings. Research methodology aimed to produce rigorous and systematic investigation of the research hypothesis. Finding contribute to the understanding of the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining. Okay, Python programming was utilized for data manipulation, calculation, and visualization. Primary data on Bitcoin price, energy consumption, CO2 emission were collected, but the data were cleaned, formatted, and coded for consistency. Missing data and outliers were addressed following standard data cleaning procedures and algorithms. Descriptive statistics summarize variable characteristics like correlation analysis, examined the relationship, and regression modeling tested the hypothesis and quantified variable influence. The systematic review employed a quantitative approach. We only selected the quantitative or empirical findings and quantitative measures from selected studies. Okay, these libraries are used from Python. Scikit-learn was used to build the model and others used to visualize and data manipulation. Ethical considerations were prioritized in the study. Informed consent was not applicable as the study did not involve direct human participants. Confidentiality and privacy of data were protected through anonymization and removal of personally identified information. Legal and ethical guidelines were followed. The data is used is openly available. That's why we use legal and ethical guidelines were followed in accessing and utilizing publicly available data. Potential biases and limitations in the study, in the collection and analysis were acknowledged. Data quality and reliability were addressed by using reputable and reliable sources and cross-checking the data. Selection bias in the systematic review was mitigated through a transparent search strategy that I will discuss later. And multiple researchers involved, me and our supervisor were involved in uh, such strategy in the selection process, selection of the literature. Limitations of data analysis techniques such as correlation regression were recognized and interpreted. casually. Potential limitations and biases in the interpretation of the systematic review findings were acknowledged. Methodology were designed to examine validity, reliability, and transparency in the study. The study aimed to provide a comprehensive and rigorous analysis while being transparent about its limitation and potential biases. Okay, validity and reliability in the study. Data collection involved reputable, reliable sources like discussed. Literature review was conducted with the predefined inclusion and exclusion criteria to ensure high quality studies were selected. Data cleaning and pre-processing were rigorous to enhance data accuracy. Statistical and machine learning analysis followed established methodology and used reliable software like Python programming software. Sampling bias was mitigated through a comprehensive search strategy and systematic selection process. Okay. Measurement error was minimized through the use of reliable data source and careful variable selection. Efforts were made to control for confounding variables, but limitations in accounting for all potential factors were acknowledged. Generalizability of findings was considered. Limitation in the applying the results to different contexts were acknowledged. The study aimed to provide the solid foundation and meaningful conclusion to address threats and validity to the reliability. Data availability and limitation could affect. Okay, these are the limitation. Data availability and limitations could affect the accuracy and reliability of our findings. Data quality issues such as measurement errors and reporting biases should be considered. Assumptions and simplifications made in the study may impact the accuracy and generalizability of the findings. The findings may be specific to the time frame, and context of the study. Caution should be exercised when generalizing the finding beyond the scope of the study. Limitation can affect the accuracy, generalizability, and depth of the finding. Despite the limitation, the study contribute to the existing knowledge and efforts valuable insight into a topic. Further research is needed to address the limitation and expand the understanding of the area. These are our confounding variables. Those are hold constant in our study, like mining difficulty. Mining difficulty is different in many areas. Like higher difficulty may increase energy consumption. Mining hardware efficiency. Many miners also use efficient hardware. That's why this is a confounding variable for in our study. Electricity source. We are using just three electricity sources like coal, gas, and petrol. So there may be other confounding variable as well concerning the electricity source. Technological advancements. Technological advancements may also be the confounding factor in our study because more miners use advanced technologies, so we don't incorporate that. The results and analysis. Objective research objective. The quantitative research study examines the relationship between Bitcoin price, energy consumption, and CO2 emissions. Data analysis and machine learning technique were used to understand the complex relationship among the variables. The research objectives include correlation analysis, machine learning model, time series investigation, and a systematic review. The hypothesis test suggests a strong causal relationship between Bitcoin's price, energy consumption, and CO2 emissions. These are variables from the data set. Okay, electricity consumption were gathered from Cambridge Bitcoin Electricity Consumption Index. Average emissions, this is the description of the data set. Data set of the Bitcoin carbon footprint and energy consumption collected by the authors. Okay, and the last one is the price that was collected from the investing.com in USD. So these are standard libraries that we used in Python using Python language. Okay, the first thing is the normal distribution. The data that we collected is not normal, but machine learning models input or the feature selection requires normal distribution, especially the regression problems. The problem they need the normal distribution. So the normal distribution is important in statistics and machine learning as well. It is symmetrical bell-shaped curve centered around the mean. The standard normal variate z has a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. The normal distribution is fully specified by the mean and standard deviation. The empirical rule provides estimates of data is spread based on the standard deviations from the mean. The data that adheres to the normal distribution is advantageous in machine learning. The model will predict well if we will give the normal distribution to the model. Models like LDA, Gaussian native Bayes, logistic regression, and linear regression that we are using assumes a normal distribution. Real world phenomena and process often exhibit normality or can be transformed into normal distribution. If we don't have the normal distribution, but we can transform to that normal distribution. Through data exploration and distribution assessment are important before finding the models. So this is the normal distribution that look like. Mean, median, mode are in the middle. So that's Gaussian distribution. Okay, the first method to check the normal distribution in Python is a histogram. A histogram provides a visual overview of the distribution of a data set. It displays the frequency or count of data points within predefined intervals or bins. Roughly symmetric shape in a histogram suggests a possible normal distribution. The examined features are these. Bitcoin Max, these are distribution, the variables exhibited positive skewness. These variables exhibited positive skewness. Positive skewness indicates a tail extending towards higher values. The shape of the histogram deviates from a normal distribution. The features do not adhere to a normal distribution and require alternative statistical models or algorithms to transform. So this is the data looks like the data that we collected. Okay, this is the first test, histogram. The second test is box plot. The box plot displays quantiles, median, and potential outliers of a data set. The advantage of box plot is that it also displays the outliers of the data set. The same features that we are using, okay, they don't follow the normal distribution. A normal distribution would exhibit a centered median and whiskers extending equally in both directions. Deviations from symmetry were observed in the box plots of these features. Outliers were noticeable in the box plots, indicating the unusual extreme observations. Okay, this is the box plot that we generated. You can see the data is not normal. Okay, and the above are all outliers in the data. So we have to clean the data. The third test is the density plot. A density plot provides us smoothened estimate of the probability density function of our data set. It visually represents the shape of the distribution and can be used to assess normality. These are the same features that we are using for to check the normality. Deviation from the symmetrical bell shape indicate the departure from the normality. The density plot showed positive skewness again. So this is the results. It shows the positive skewness toward right. So the fourth test is Q-plot. Q-plot compares the quantile of a data set against the quantities or quantiles of the theoretical distribution. It is used to assess how closely the data set follow a specific theoretical distribution such as normal distribution. A straight line in the Q-plot suggests the data aligns with the theoretical distribution. Deviation from the straight line indicate the departure from the normality. Okay, the same features we used again. Now you can see the data is not in the line. It departures from the normality. Okay, so the final test that we are conducted to check the normality of data is Shapiro-Wilk test. The Shapiro-Wilk test is used to check if a data set follows a normal distribution. It compares the data to a null hypothesis of a normally distributed population. The Shapiro function in the Python SciPy library can perform the Shapiro-Wilk test. The test provides a test statistic and p-value. If p-value is above chosen significance level 0.05 is indicate the data follows a normal distribution. A p-value below the significance level suggests a departure from normality. Again, same features used in Shapiro-Wilk test. Each column had a test statistic and p-value. Two things are there. The test statistic measure the proximity of data normality. A small p-value provides evidence to evidence to the null hypothesis of the normality. The results indicate Bitcoin price and other features column do not follow a normal distribution. Okay, these are results from Shapiro-Wilk test. Okay, the small p-value all less than 0.05 provides strong evidence against the null hypothesis, to reject the null hypothesis, to accept the null hypothesis, because the data is not normally distributed. Okay, now we have to transform the data. Transform the data and remove the outliers. The first algorithm that is used to transform the data is quantile transformer. The quantile transformer is a data transformation technique that maps the original data to the new distribution. It is used to reshape the distribution of features in a data set. The transformation can help address issues of non-normality such as skewness or outliers. The transformed data approximates a more desirable distribution such as uniform or Gaussian shape. The specific parameters and target distribution used in the quantile transformation depend on the implementation objectives. The quantile transformation can be beneficial for statistical analysis and modeling that we are using now, machine learning. Okay, interquantile range IQR method is used to identify. This method is the second method used to remove the outliers. The interquartile range IQR method is used to identify and remove outliers from a data set. The IQR is measured of the spread of data calculated as the difference between the upper quartile 75th percentile and the lower quartile 25th percentile. Outliers are typically defined based on the threshold determined by multiplying the IQR by a constant. Data points below the lower threshold or above the upper threshold are considered outliers and are removed from the dataset. Removing outliers helps eliminate potentially extreme or unusual observation that can distort analysis or model results. Outliers can arise from errors, mistakes in the data set or data entry. Okay, we now we removed all data outliers and data is now normal. You can see from the box plot, the transformed box plot. All the features are normal. You can see the box plot. Okay, now the data distribution is normal, and the density plots. It's a bell-shaped curve, and the Q plot. It's also in the line. And again, the Shapiro-Wilk test. The overall result suggests that data in each column has a moderate to strong resemblance to normal distribution based on the test statistics, and however p-values are greater than 0.05 indicating insufficient evidence to reject the null hypothesis or normality. Now these are descriptive statistics that or initial characteristics of the data that we use using describe function in Python. Okay, the first result, what we say, correlation analysis is used. Correlation analysis quantifies the strength and direction of the linear relationship between variables. Python libraries Pandas and NumPy are used to handle data and calculate correlation coefficients. The correlation matrix displays the pairwise correlation coefficients between variables. A correlation coefficient ranges from -1 to 1, where values close to 1 indicate a strong positive correlation. Values close to -1 indicate a strong negative correlation, and values close to 0 indicating no or weak correlation. The correlation analysis examines the relation between these variables we are used. The results show a strong correlation between all three variables with correlation coefficient ranging from 0.939 to 1. Okay, the findings suggest that the price, energy consumption, and emissions also tend to increase. Like price increases, as energy consumption increases, and CO2 emissions also increases. Insights from the correlation analysis can guide further in our analysis later. These are results from correlation analysis. All have either one or close to 1. This is the heat map that visually represents correlation. Okay, now we are building the model. Multivariable linear regression is used to model the relationship between dependent and independent variables. Price, energy consumption are independent variables. Emissions is dependent variable. The model equation is this: CO2 emissions coefficients, then independent variable, then dependent variable, and after that error function. Python libraries, scikit-learn and state models is used to build a regression model. The model is fitted to the data using the fit method which learns the coefficients. Metrics can be used to evaluate the model's performance or validate its effectiveness. Building the regression model provides insights in the relationship between these variables. Okay, before giving the data to the model, we have to split the data. It's good to split the data, test and train. So we use the library of scikit-learn and split the data into 30% test and the 70% train. Okay, the evolution matrix. We built a regression model, it's doing the predictive analysis, but we have to evaluate the model. Is it the best version of the model? So we have evolution matrices. The first one is mean absolute error, MAE. Mean absolute error measures the average absolute difference between predicted and actual values. Mean value of 0 point something indicates an average deviation of approximately 0.0014. It shows how close the model predictions are on average to the true values. And the second one is mean squared error. Mean squared error calculates the average squared difference between the predicted and actual values. MSE amplifies larger errors and is more sensitive to outliers compared to MAE. The MAE values obtained is less than zero, is close to less than zero, is close to zero, and indicate a small average squared difference. Lower MSE values suggest better model performance. In our case, it's close to zero, it's lower. Root mean square, the other matrix. Root mean squared error is the square root of the MSE and measures the average magnitude of error in the same unit as the dependent variable. RMSE is commonly used to assess the goodness of fit of a regression model. RM value is indicate an average deviation of approximately 0.0026. It quantifies the average magnitude of errors between the predicted and actual values. These are results of evolution matrix, model evolution. Lower values for MAE, MSE, RMSE, and ARS indicate better model performance. They reflect similar prediction errors. In our case, they are similar. These are actual and predicted. These are relationship of Bitcoin price and energy consumption with CO2 emissions. These are actual and predicted values. Actual and predicted values generated. Okay, the time series analysis. We did the time series analysis, and the graph tends to show the increase in with the from 2011 to 2023, 22. Okay, the time series analysis again, the comparison of energy consumption and CO2 emission with coal and gas and mixed emissions. They tend to increase. The energy consumption increases and the emissions are tend to increase. Again, from 2017 to 2021, energy consumption